And so the chaperone didn't go with any of them. It turns out at the end we found out that she had left to go with the music teacher to Olive Garden. Yes. Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so I am currently in a daycare library. So, yeah, no, I didn't get held back, I promise. I am going into the 7th grade. I'm smart. Anyway, so, I've seen a bunch of YouTubers do this. I love watching the Gabbie Show. I'll link down her channel down below. She does lots of story times and like how she saw ghosts and stuff. And I've not seen any ghosts recently or ever in my life, but I have experienced lots of funny stuff that I think that you guys would want to know about. So let's start the story time. Wait, this way. I struggled with this in the last video that I made on my secondary channel. This way. Wait, nope, this way. Yep, this way. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna just go. Okay, bye.
The time that I got lost and left at Six Flags.
But this story time is the time that I got lost at Six Flags and almost left there on a school trip. So it actually all started out with, it was my first year of middle school. And we were going on a music trip festival. I was in band and chorus, and we were going to the music festival. So first we went to this Catholic school. We had performed, and then we were going off to Six Flags, which was where they were going to announce our scores and who won and stuff. And I'll get to that later. So when we got there, we were put with this teacher lady, because it was a group of 5 friends. Yeah, there were, I think, 5 of us. So there were 5 of us, and we were plus me, which is 6, and then one of my friends was supposed to have her mom chaperone us, but she ended up not coming, so we got a teacher put with us. And we were like, okay, this is fine, okay, we're okay with the teacher. And 8, okay, it's 8, plus a chaperone, which was 9 of us. Okay. So when we first got there, we were all together in a group, and we decided to go over to this one ride. I don't know the name of it. Comment down below if you know what the name of this ride is. It was like Green Lantern. Okay. It was Green Lantern. And so I am not a roller coaster person, because when I go on a roller coaster, I end up getting a headache, and then I can't do anything else after that. So, and that was for 2 of my other friends. So we were also like, okay, we don't want to do anything. And So while everybody else in the group went on that ride, including the chaperone, we were sitting there watching their stuff. And so we had only like maybe 8 hours at the park. And so we were freaking out, because this is our first year doing this and stuff. We've never done anything like this. By the way, I stopped by I think I'm gonna have to leave. So I didn't have to go to my room. We were basically just watching their stuff, and we were sitting there. And so we had 8 hours at the park, and what's it called? Jose had walked off, and so I was just there alone, and with Jasmine, and then she ended up walking. We were walking like these little areas where basically you can like, you pay the money, you play a game, and then you can win a prize. And so we were walking around there, and I stopped to tie my shoe, and I lost Jasmine. And so Jasmine's still walking off to try to find my friends. It was like really stressful. And so eventually I found Jasmine, and she was there with like 2 other people, and we were like, okay, what happened to the group? Okay, and so they explained us what happened. So half of the group wanted to go on this ride, half of the group wanted to go on another ride. So they had split up to go on that ride, and eventually everybody else had just left. people that wanted to go on ride A eventually didn't go on ride A. They just split up and went on different rides. And the people that wanted to go on ride B split up and didn't actually go on ride B. And so the chaperone didn't go with any of them. It turns out at the end we found out that she had left to go with the music teacher to Olive Garden. Yes. So we were like wandering around, and so when we finally meet up with almost about most of the group, I think, we're like, okay, what happened? And we're like asking, okay, like, where did you guys go? And so she said, this one girl said that she was with, they had done like the dumbest thing ever and put all of their money together. And so this one girl was freaking out because somebody had stolen her money out of the group. She bought 2 t-shirts for $40. Each t-shirt was $40, so that's like $80 total. And so we're like, okay, well, who do you think did this? And she was like, okay, the last person that I brought $100 to the park, and then the last person that had the money was this other girl. And I'm not going to say her name, but yeah. And so, and it was just like really, we were like, okay, fine. So we went over to these 8th graders, these 2 8th graders, Cookie and Sydney, and then her mom. And we were like, okay, well, so-and-so took our money, and now our group split up, we're all lost, and I think we had gotten part of the group back together to go talk to the 8th graders and stuff, but at that point, we were still wandering around to try to find them, and I got lost from the group again, because they had walked, I don't know why, but they walked inside the store, one of the gift shops, and inside the gift shop, I got left inside the gift shop, and my friend had to come back and get me. It was just like really stressful. We were like freaking out, and so they ended up calling the girl that took the money. They asked her why she did it. They were questioning her and stuff. And by this time, we had spent so much time wandering around that nobody actually did anything while we were at the park. I think my friend and we only did like a few things. It was more like the water things than it was anything else. And I didn't have any money, because my mom thought it was not a good idea to bring money. So I didn't have any money, I didn't have any food, and so I relied on other people to get food. And actually, hold up, let me backtrack a few. I'm going to put this in the beginning. Okay, so when we were first walking in, because when our music teacher told us that you weren't allowed to bring food in, and we were like, okay, we have to eat our lunch out here and then go inside. And so my friend brought this big bag of chips of Chex Mix, and she was like, I'm not going to throw this all away. So we were like shoving it in our mouth, and then she put it in her shirt, and she was like, do you think I could get away with this? And we were like, no. So she threw it out, and we were walking up to the line, and we saw this other lady with 2 big bags of, 2 big grocery bags, like this, but bigger. And she had like 1,000 bags of chips in them. And so we're like, and mind you, let me tell you, there was a sign that said no snacks allowed brought into park, because they wanted to, like, so that you could buy all their stuff so they could make money. And there was a bin that said, what's it called? If you have any snacks, we'll put it in here and donate to kids that actually need the snacks. And so we're like, oh, no, we don't, like, okay, well, we're not going to do that because we've already opened up the bag and stuff. And so we throw it away, we walk up, and then there's this lady in front of us, and she has these big bags of chips, and she walks inside the park with the chips. And so we're like, wait a minute. What? You could have brought the chips in? And so we were like, dang it. And she was like, should I go back in the trash and fish out the chips? And we were like, no, don't do that, because you don't know what's in there now. Somebody could have thrown something else away, or somebody could have like gotten sick in the trash can or whatever. So we walk in. So my friend's really mad about that. Okay. Okay, so like I said, we finally got to them. They were questioning the girl, what happened. And so now it is time to go to get our scores and like to the actual competition. And so we were walking, and this time the group had split up again because we got in this huge argument about if she actually took the money, or if because they had put all their money together, that she was allowed to spend the money on that. And together, I think total they had like $250, and because a bunch of people brought like $100 and stuff to the park, because, you know, Six Flags is expensive about everything. Like, you can get a crumb for like $5. So anyway, it was time to go to, what do you call that? Not the actual competition, but like award ceremony. Okay, the award ceremony. It was time for the award ceremony. And so, again, the group had split up, and because they were all mad at each other, so I'm walking around with my friend Jasmine, and we are determined to stay together. So we're walking around, we're picking up other people that had also gotten lost from their groups as we go. And so basically, we finally get there. The group is all mad at each other, so they split up. And so I think I was sitting in like the front row, but we had moved around a lot. Because first we were sitting in the back, then we moved to the front, and then we moved to the middle, and then we went. And then when we were sitting in the front, one of the 8th graders told us we weren't allowed to sit in the front because it was a tradition for the 8th graders to sit in the front. So we moved to the second row, and then we moved back to the first row because we were like, we don't really care. We're going to sit here if we want to. And so basically we were up against this high school that had an orchestra, which wasn't fair because we were just a middle school. And I know other middle schools have like orchestras and stuff like that, but we were one of those small middle schools. Because where I live, it's a really small town. It's like, there's not a lot. The only reason they made a middle school is because there was not enough room in the elementary school. So, and we don't even have our own high school, so. And so, basically, all we had was a band, jazz band, chorus, and select choir. But select choir does not compete. I think they only compete. They only perform during winter concerts. The award ceremony was really good because we ended up beating out the high school in most stuff except for the orchestra because they had a string orchestra and they had a regular orchestra and then they had a brass orchestra, which was like didn't even have that much, and then they had a choir, jazz choir, and then chorus. And we did not have any of that stuff. So that's the only reason they won. But for overall, we won that year. And this year, during 6th grade, that was during 5th grade, during 6th grade, we actually did really bad, like terrible. Like, I'll make that another story time. But we were terrible. So, my nose. So basically, after the award ceremony, we had, I think, maybe half an hour left, and she said, okay, I don't want you to get in line for a ride anymore. I think this is the time where you spend at those little games and stuff, like carnival games and stuff, or you can just get some food and leave. And so that was basically what everybody did. We were walking back to the bus, and so I think we stopped to get some food, like a dessert, and then that's it. We got back to the bus, and so you had to get back to the bus on time because she had only paid for certain hours, and if we didn't get back to the school by that hour, she would have to pay extra. And so we almost left a person behind, the person that they accused of stealing the money. She was late. She held up the bus, and so we were getting ready to leave her behind. And the bus was driving away when she came running towards in the parking lot. And so we had to stop and get her. She got in huge trouble. But other than that, that was basically the trip. So basically the lesson learned is when you go on a music festival or you go anywhere into a big amusement park or any place with a bunch of friends, stay together. Like have one of those pre-K ropes to stay together. Do not put your money together. And don't have that chaperone again. Because that chaperone, I think... Did she get fired? I don't think she got fired. I should have brought my yearbook. I think she got fired, but my friend told me that she still works upstairs with the 7th and 8th graders. But, yeah. So, yeah, don't always have a parent or somebody there, because you can actually trust them, because if they're a parent, they've obviously had kids before, they know how to be responsible, where instead of having one of those young teachers that have know absolutely nothing about responsibility or anything about children because they're 23 and they are fresh out of college. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you liked my video for today or this week or whenever I get the time to edit. I'll link down my other video down below in the description box. So go check out my other video on my secondary channel. This will probably be on my main channel. So, yes, I'll link down from my secondary channel. I'll link it down below. So go check that out. And I'm wearing Crocs because I am lazy and do not feel like putting on real shoes. So that's all I have for you guys today, and bye.
SUBSCRIBE today. Don't forget to share and like my videos.
Basically, this is the stolen car. He's driving by, and this is a police car, and this is a police car.